it's hard to continue to write about a guy when no one else is wanting to speak up. Y'all had Angelique Bates last week, and she did a really good job. I'm working on a piece right now where she said, about her mom getting hit on,
Yeah,
and
that was one of the things that came up in the process of chatting with her. Yeah,
so, I mean, that's definitely something. And it's one of those things where I don't know if he's like a pedophile or if he's just like a really, it's a Louis C.K. kind of situation where it's like, he didn't do anything like illegal. He's just really, really freaking weird. I mean, either way, they still wrote about it. So
right, and I think and that's what we said. I don't know if he's done anything illegal, but there's things that seeing a 13-year-old girl laying on his lap, I'd be like, would any dad be okay with this? Like, there's things that you would see that aren't technically illegal, but if it was your daughter, you would punch that man in the face.
Which it's a totally different like mindset, I guess, for the superstar parent or whatever trying to push their kids into. I mean, I don't know what that parent. All I know is like what my parents are like, what other parents, that I was raised with. But I've never ran into that parent that was, my kid's going to be a superstar no matter what it takes kind of thing. So I mean, I don't really understand the mindset, but I get that it's there. So that's terrifying that people are having children to, make money for them. But that's a time-old profession.
Exactly. And I mean, look, and again, this is just a hunch that we have, and this is something that we've looked into. I mean, as far as the kids being in this environment, could he potentially not be any kind of like a real pedophile, let's say? Okay, that's fine. But it's strange to me that we've had multiple female sources come on this show. One of them identified, not even like anonymously, and they both discussed this sort of methodical separation of the kid from the child, the parent from the child. And it's like, it almost seems very intentional and organized in a sense. Like they're trying to sort of cultivate a bit of an independent streak in these kids.
Yes.
Which again is another form of grooming.
Oh, definitely. And going through contracts, I mean, I've been trying to find general contract agreements that, typically young actors would sign with an agency. And I mean, you pretty much have to have your lawyer put in certain clauses of, how many hours you can work, when you can be alone, things of that nature. It's not as spelled out in black and white. These are the hours, and you always have to have a parent on guard. So, I mean, they try to make it seem like it's pretty standard. Parents are always around, but I mean, you kind of have to have that specifically in there.
Yeah, and there's also things like, and this you could look it up. When Jamie Lynn Spears first got pregnant at 16, she when asked, she said the father was some creepy old dude, and then after a while, the story changed to no, it was her boyfriend at the time. She said Casey Aldridge.
Yeah, I've been reading the same thing, and I read a Daily Mail article from like a year ago that was talking about that, and she apparently when she was talking to her friends about it, they had asked her, "Is it possible that Casey got you pregnant?" And she said no. And then she proceeded to take the test anyway. So it's like, well, no, he couldn't have got me pregnant because we didn't have sex. So
right.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take it anyway. Like,
yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot of weird stuff, and with that, not
saying it's him, not saying it's Dan Schneider.
No, we don't know. We don't know.
Right.
But my point is that it's one of those things where too many weird things happen around this one dude. And, it's not great that he was running one of these 2002 LA Times. Mike find that article, groomed to be all that. I mean, he was now he was found out a pedophile, Brian Peck.
They ran that, him and Brian Peck that ran that comedy camp together, or Brian Singer?
No, Brian Peck. Brian Peck. And,
okay. Yeah, and Brian Peck did the commentary on Star Trek with Brian Singer. That's how I was trying to figure out how they're all connected.
And he was convicted for raping a child on a Nickelodeon set.
Correct. Brian Peck was.
What we're trying to establish that this entire environment is really dangerous for kids to be around. I mean, look at their fucking track record with these girls. Like, not a single female showed up to help to congratulate Dan Schneider on getting his little lifetime achievement thing from Nickelodeon. One female was on that stage out of 20 years of launching these careers. Now, I find it strange that anybody, even Louis C.K. has a bunch of comedians coming out right now going, no, he was very good to me and he helped launch my career. It's the silence is bizarre to me. I've never seen anything like this.
No, I completely agree, and I mean it's really telling. The problem is I don't understand why other people aren't jumping on it. I don't understand why. I mean, this is like the time to be outing sexual. I mean, you got what Roy Moore or whoever is it Roy Moore?
Yeah,
I mean, they're running ads on him for being a sexual predator. I mean, for teenagers, this is the juiciest stuff. This is what's selling. This is what's getting clicks. So I don't know why other
and
outlets aren't jumping on
the
this.
thing that was weird to us, here's like when People Magazine contacted us, and they were like, okay, and we figured, maybe they'll speak to the source and think to our source and think the story's stupid. But till to this day, they've never spoken to the guy. So what gets me is like, well, you didn't even try, and you're still not writing a story, and that's what bothers me.
Brought me. I mean, that's what got me into that's how I found out about you guys. Was I got into the rabbit hole, and along the way it was like, wait a minute, these guys claim to be contacted by people. Okay, let's see what that's about. And I mean, that's bullshit. I read the emails and all that stuff, and the fact that they hadn't contacted him at all.
And I'll say this too. Garrett went into this with a little bit of skepticism,
as like, we all did.
Do you have these email? And I was like, literally before he could finish the sentence, I'm like, blink. Yeah, there they are.
Boom, 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 boom. Like,
and he was like, oh, okay.
Articles.
When you see things like an open secret, and now an open secret in itself is becoming this turn of phrase for Hollywood pedophilia and sexual assault, it's just funny to me that I'm looking at an open secret, and then I like Garrett said, that's when he got curious. Like, why the fuck would people say, hey, we want to look into this, then not look into it? I now have, I'll say this, I'm not going to say who it was, but Royce and I got a couple of pals in the biz, so to speak, which is why we've been pulling some of this shit off. We had somebody contact Deadline and TMZ for us.
Yes.
Somebody who contacted Harvey Levin personally for us. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nobody cares.
It's really weird, man.
And if this was an article about, what smoothie Kim Kardashian's drinking, it'd be all over this shit.
Yeah, you're right.
There'd be 4 pages on it.
Everyone that we've talked to, even when we talked to Angelique Bates, she had her mom, who again she did say abused her, which was terrible, but also wouldn't leave her side, so that's why she wasn't left alone. And even with that, hearing the thing that they were hitting on a stage mom, and because of that they cut her time. Like, again, it was a group of kids. There was really no reason to cut her off the show. They were all pretty much on par with acting. And there was a lot of really weird things, and sticking them in condos. And again, the stories of
better being 13.
Yeah, and separating the parents and the kids is a weird thing. Telling them to stand by the pool,
barefoot auditions,
taking
videotapes of all these kids' feet.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that video of the outtakes of the Amanda show, or like the
the slap videos?
Yep.
Yeah, the slap videos with Ariana Grande. Putting her foot in her mouth and squeezing shit all over herself.
Yeah.
And then the fucking him using the Sam and Cat Twitter account to solicit pictures of kids' feet. That would get you, dude. Back in my day, in my old neighborhood, back in my old, listen, let me tell you, my old neighborhood,
here's Bo Dietl.
We used to stand for something. No, but back in my day, like, you would have gotten dude, there would have been like 14 fathers outside of your house. Like, hey, come outside, we want to talk to you for a second. And they may not have beaten him up, but the guy would have went back in the house with an understanding that he doesn't ever ask for a picture of kids' feet again. But the whole thing is
we're going to pretend that your dog's name Lolly isn't a weird thing.
It's a very, very weird thing. There's a lot of...
That's enough to convict them there.
Dude, I know. Come on. Everyone knows what that means. And now someone took me down the hole of looking to see if girls were ever wearing like the heart glasses from the Lolita movie. Because I'm wondering if he's in. Now I'm down a rabbit hole now.
Dude, it's the shit is piling up. The silence is extremely deafening at this point.
Deafening.
And the lack, again, to me, the biggest indicator is, how do you not have multiple women? And again, we didn't even get into the Jeanette McCurdy Vine, which I'm sure you've seen. The fact that none of them
her bruises.
Hey, Dan Schneider. I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Fine. Look what you've done to me.
Yeah.
Have you seen the interview with her and Eric Andre?
No.
The Eric Andre show?
I've seen the Eric Andre show, but I haven't seen an interview with it. Is it good?
Oh, it's weird. Like he gets like inches away from her face, but she's like got like this weird tick thing going. It looks like she, was traumatized, reliving some sort of horrible thing. And this was like from a year ago. So, I mean,
you gotta help me out. You gotta help me. Please help me.
Okay.
Please help me out here, please.
All right.
Mike pointed it out to me because, like he said, he suffered from it. But he says, he pointed out they're doing a lot of things that's reminiscent of people that have been abused. The way they act, the way they're acting out.
Yes. Every one of these women, and I'm not saying that Dan Schneider has committed any crime, and I'm not disparaging his character, but every single woman, young woman, who has worked with him acts towards him the way somebody would towards somebody that victimized them.
Thank you, Garrett, for being on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, do you want to promote anything
promote your stuff, dude.
Besides PolitiFeed?
Yeah.
PolitiFeed.net's the only thing I'm working on right now.
Y'all got to get on Twitter,
a new
dude.
gig, but
yeah, get on Twitter.
It's for basketball recruiting. Yeah, I just started the Twitter page for it.
Good,
So
good.
Awesome. I think we're about to hit 200,000 follows on Facebook. So
that's amazing. That really is. We're fucking peanut butter and jelly over here.
We're like 2 months old, so
that's nuts.
Jesus.
Fuck.
We're fucking small fries, man. We suck.
Thanks, dude.
Fine, stupid viral shit. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
thank you, man. Sir, thank you.
Take it easy.
That's Garrett
to see you,
Vascil
man.
from PolitiFeed.net.